What's the secret?
You know, everyone asks me, no, everyone asks me that all the time, and the truth is, what big move did it, you know, put us over the top or whatever? And I always say the same thing. It's every little thing. It's not one big thing. It's every little thing. Attention to detail and trying to be great every day. The entire organization, not just the basketball team, the business organization, everything.
Is that why you're light years ahead, according to the quote last year? Because, by the way, you look light years ahead right now.
Well, I'll let others be the judge of that.
Well, let me say this. First of all, thank you for being on the show. Congratulations. He and I do talk a lot. You're great. I'm real happy for you. I'm happy for the organization because from the top on down, you guys are just first class. And I think the biggest thing to say, and I think the biggest thing that's always said about this team is everyone applauds its selflessness. And I want to know from you, where do you think that comes from? Does it come from you? Does it come from Peter? Does it come from Steve Kerr, Bob Myers? Who is this? The Steph Curry. I mean, where does the unselfish portion of all of this come from?
Well, I think you said it comes from really everybody. You know, you'd hire a certain type of person in an organization, and the truth is, we're all responsible for it to some extent, but I would have to say, more than anything else, it started with Steph Curry, and he's an incredible individual.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because so many of us sit back and have speculated in the past when he had those ankle injuries. We said, hey, we don't know how long he's going to last. You guys said, well, damn it, we'll find out because he ain't going anywhere. What made you want to have so much faith and belief in him as opposed to just making a business decision and saying, we've got some question marks here? Talk about that.
Well, Stephen A., you've been around basketball a long time. You ever seen anybody's career end with an ankle injury?
No. Well, Grant Hill, maybe.
Maybe.
Bit, yeah.
But I mean, generally speaking, it doesn't happen.
Right.
So we really didn't worry about that too much. I mean, he certainly had a chronic situation, but, you know, we bet on him. And it worked out.
Which is actually a courageous move for a couple of reasons, not just because of the injury, but because until the emergence of the Golden State Warriors, there'd never been a team constructed like that in modern NBA history who won championships. The orthodoxy was live by the three, die by the three. If you're 6'3" point guard, your best player, you're not going to win a bunch of championships. Where's your big man? You can't play 5 out. You had a coach in Mark Jackson, successful, popular, and it wasn't going in the direction exactly that you wanted or whatever it was, and you made an unpopular move midstream. So actually what you've shown in the organization is a certain kind of courage of your convictions, or at least of your conclusions. Can you talk about that?
Well, I mean, we had a philosophy when we bought the team, which was now 7 years ago, which was you know, I was sort of influenced by the Celtics of the 60s, where I grew up, and then the Lakers. Believe it or not, Celtics and Laker fan in my history.
Right.
Of the 80s, Showtime, which I thought great defense, great style of play, tough, rugged. The Lakers, Showtime, incredibly exciting, great team. I know you think they're the best team of all time, and maybe it's true, maybe not. But they were great. And those two were the influences for what we wanted to create. And so we had an idea of what we wanted to do, and basically we built around that. We had one great piece to build around, Steph Curry. Everything else we got rid of.
When you said last year we're light years ahead, this was before you acquired Kevin Durant. Stay with me for a second. This is before you acquired Kevin Durant. What was it about you, about this organization, about this team that made you feel you were ahead even before you had acquired Kevin Durant?
Well, you got to believe in yourself, right?
Okay.
You have to be confident.
Anyone else will.
And you got to have conviction about, you know, if you got a style that you act upon in business, or whether it's your personality or whatever, you got to do what you believe in. You can't listen to everybody else. You know, I was booed by a lot of people, 20,000 people. You can't lose confidence. You got to do what you think is right. And so that's just who we are. We take chances. We're risk takers.
You'll be, Joe, celebrating soon. Obviously, the parade's going to be here. And if President Trump invites you guys to the White House, will you attend?
I can't believe we're getting this question already. But, you know, honestly, that's something we'll worry about at the time. I mean, that's a long time from now. And good answer, yes. Politically correct answer.
So you still need to think about it.
He's right.
Yes.
How do you feel about, like, there's been a resurgence of sports greatness in the Bay Area. The San Francisco Giants seem to win the World Series on average like once every other year. Andre Ward got a fight coming up on Saturday. He's been a great fighter, undefeated.
I'm
gold
worried.
medalist.
I'm rooting for him. I believe he wins,
Kovalev's a
but
monster.
I am worried.
Kovalev's a monster. It ain't good. By the way, the
Kovalev.
Cavs are monsters too. It ain't ever easy. The Raiders are on the upswing, although apparently they're headed out in 4 years. But you guys are really at the forefront of this now. Can you tell me about the feeling of being at the forefront of a resurgent, of a renaissance in Bay Area sports?
Well, the Giants obviously had an incredible run. 3 championships every other year. Larry Bear texted me this morning and congratulated me. And I said, well, we still have 1 to catch you. And he said, I think you'll get that. And then he wrote, in Oakland. So, you know, there's a lot of great Bay Area sports, and obviously we're having a great run right now. We're going to try to keep it going as long as we can.
I'm going to ask you this question because I know you well enough to ask you this question. As we sit here today, you're the NBA champions again. Next year, do you hope or do you expect to be right back in this same position?
Well, I mean, look, we've got something that a lot of teams haven't had, right? We've got 4 stars in their 20s. We should be pretty good next year.
Let me ask you this.
Pretty good.
What about Steve? What about
For
Steve Kerr?
all-stars.
What about what can you tell us about Steve Kerr? It was beautiful seeing him there yesterday. He was very tearful. I got the I don't know anything, but I got the impression it was almost like I don't know if I'm going to be back here. I got to really
Oh, no,
enjoy this
he's going to be
moment.
back.
He's going to be back? Okay.
Sure, he's going to
Great.
be back.
That's
Steve
great.
Kerr,
That's right.
incredible. This guy, I'd love him to be my coach for a
Right.
decade. I mean, incredibly, and obviously his health was.
But that's what I'm asking about
I
in
know.
terms of his health.
Well, we don't know. He's obviously good enough to coach.
Okay.
And he got through it and did a great job. And
Right.
hopefully the rest of the symptoms kind of go away, and
I hope
he's
so.
got a long career.